Hi, so I'm Jay Hofmann Forster. I'm a co-founder and artistic director for Clockenflap Music and Arts Festival. And Minimax is really the main focus this year. It's been a crazy project. There's like almost 100 people involved in the production. And we have like an international team and a local team. It's a very collaborative process. Clockenflap used to have a dedicated performing arts venue called Club Minky. And for me, that was like my kind of like almost like a festival within a festival. I mean, people love the music, but they also love alternative activities and entertainment. And maybe sometimes they're not even expecting that necessarily. You know, they just kind of stumble across it. And then when we moved to Central from West Kowloon, space was actually a little bit more challenging. Minimax was really born through the kind of desire to like present theatre, but with limited space. So I had this idea almost 2 years ago now that maybe we could make a mobile and modular theatre so we don't need like a permanent physical space. And then when we engaged Ben Smith, who's the writer-director, he took our concept and then he was like, how can we make this into a show? And there's a piece of music called The Planets by a British classical composer called Gustav Holst. So I am also focused on the illustration for the like visual, for the posters and for the marketing materials. Actually, it's kind of like a name came to mind, which was the orbitals. So I started to think about creatures that are maybe living in outer space. Ben basically was like, hey, the planets feels like a pretty cool idea. And you know, planets are moving, like orbiting the sun. So we were like, hey, if we build a sun and then we build these planets, then we can really play with like this kind of circular motion. And also Gustav Holst with the planets, he was interested in like archetypes. Each of the planets has an archetype, like Venus, for example, is the bringer of peace. We've kind of gone with that theme, and that gives us like a really strong narrative starting point to develop a show. And each of the planets is moving around the festival, and there's a show for each of those planets. For us, it's like an interesting experiment as to see how do we engage like audiences? How can you make Minimax super cool and super interesting that people really want to like, what's this, and get involved? So for us, that's like one of the kind of guiding principles. I mean, when I arrived in Hong Kong, I basically had no network, no money, and actually not that much experience. But I felt like Hong Kong was such a cool place, and it was so supportive of like crazy ideas. Clockenflap, I feel like we reached a certain point where we are successful. It's kind of famous now. And so with Minimax, I really wanted to kind of leverage the opportunity to basically kind of support or showcase local talent. Basically to take that kind of resource and to like help or support local people and to showcase their talent across the board. So like from the set designer, Obi Chan, the director, Ben, you know, there's like street dancers, contemporary dancers, there's musicians, and just the energy and the kind of rawness of those young talent is super cool. Minimax is very much about that.